I watched that in horror that night, not just for the fact that that assassination had been carried out at the time, the place, but the fact that these officers that I complained about being in the pockets or being too cosy with the Lyons criminal family were heading up a major murder, one of the most horrendous murders in recent times, and these people were going to lead the investigation. You can imagine what was going through my head at the time. As I said, it was horror and disgust that these men were going to investigate. Maybe, just maybe at the time, the Lyonses were #1 suspect because of the to and fro and shootings that was going on through a period of 5 to 6 years. So I was horrified. I contacted Strathclyde Police to ask them to reconsider the officers who were going to investigate this murder, as I had serious concerns about their professionalism, their integrity and their ability to remain unbiased towards getting the murderers who murdered this man in broad daylight with 10 bullets going through his head. Horrifying. I was told then that they had been investigated in the past and that nothing was found on them, and they had every confidence in them that they would bring the people to task, and very quickly. I was not reassured at that. I continued to go elsewhere to try and get someone to listen, to try and open other doors and other avenues, because this was getting too serious. This was now not just about two criminal gangs fighting and feuding with each other. It then involved public, people law-abiding, going about their daily business, people who have never been in trouble with the police in their life, people who just wanted to go shopping at Asda to get what they have to get to feed their children, their families, and yet they were getting caught up, as we called it, caught in the crossfire. Shocking and horrified. This is Chicago 1920 stuff, not Glasgow 21st century, and we have to wipe that out. So you can imagine, as I said to you, the horror that came to me, that these officers who had vouched for the Lyons criminal family as being decent or law-abiding citizens, it was a travesty, it was shocking. So I did continue to go elsewhere to try and find someone who would listen and maybe step into the fray. Unfortunately, there was no doors open to me. I then decided to keep the campaign going, the awareness campaign, to try and remove these people from this investigation, because I wanted justice first and foremost. I wanted the public to be protected and not to suffer in future any of these kind of outbursts where criminal families meet in a public car park of an Asda shopping centre or a Tesco shopping centre, somewhere that masses of people go about with their children, their families, to take them shopping and be free from any people coming in with guns or any other weapons and attacking each other. This is just beyond comprehension. In 2011, there was incidents that took place and prison visits took place to visit a PC MacLeod, who was an officer that was investigated through Lothing and Borders Police, with allegations made against him that he was feeding information to the Lyons criminal family and other criminal families. This man was taken to task. Whilst lying in prison, waiting for his trial to come up, Superintendent Michael Orr and D.I. Young were using Strathclyde Police vehicles unmarked, not signing them out, not letting anyone know they were going with them, and were visiting PC MacLeod, the Lothian Borders policeman, in prison. The allegations made against them, which Lothian Borders have made a formal complaint to Strathclyde Police about these two officers, allegedly is saying that they were going through having these unscheduled visits, nothing getting registered within the prison system, but they were getting access to the PC MacLeod. Allegedly, they were threatening them. PC MacLeod, as part of the network, PC MacLeod made a deal with the Crown Office that he had information, and if he was to be forthcoming with this information, that maybe, just maybe, a deal could be struck. My understanding is that this is what happened. PC McLeod was facing a heavy prison sentence, probably between 15 and 25 years, for the alleged crimes he was involved in. He then volunteered information that would possibly incriminate other officers from other regions of Scotland. My understanding is that names that were mentioned were Superintendent Michael Orr and D.I. Young. PC McLeod, as I said, got between 7 and 9 years. Other family members of his who were involved in criminality with him allegedly walked free. That was part of the deal. During that period also, Michael Orr and D.I. Young, through the trial that Lord Brailford presided over, and was actually disgusted and horrified as well that that investigation brought forward information that he had serious concerns about the forensic scientists, that Mr. Orr and Mr. Young had put pressure on the forensic scientist section to actually fabricate, in some cases, the evidence to secure a conviction. Lord Brailford then instructed the Crown to get an investigation going because he had serious concerns. I had already raised these concerns, and this is what's quite ironic. If people had listened to me way back in 2008 or even before that, that these two officers would have had nothing to do with the Gerbil murder trial. I had raised concerns that they couldn't remain unbiased because of their coziness and their connection to that criminal family. Since then, we have been contacted. The first thing they done after the trial was put Rory Nicholson back up on national news because there was public outcry that that trial had failed because of failings, in my view, of Strathclyde Police to actually go about their duties in a professional manner and to do it by the book. Rory Nicholson, if you remember, is the officer who originally investigated in 2008, 2010 and come back with a glowing report that these two officers, or in particular D.I. Young, was of the highest integrity and honesty. It's a joke. When I heard this in the national news, once again, I was horrified to learn that this man was going to head up a top investigation into why that trial failed and why no one was brought to task and sentenced for that hideous, horrendous crime of shooting someone 10 times in the head in a public place. Shocking. I then contacted Strathclyde Police, the Chief Constable at the time, to ask him to remove Rory Nicholson from this investigation, as I didn't have any trust or any faith in his ability to get to the bottom of what happened, because I'd already experienced him 2-3 times in the past investigate these kind of allegations that were being made. So I had no trust or faith in him. I was rubbish once again and told that Rory Nicholson was highly thought of, well-respected officer of the highest integrity. Not in my view, not in my book. I had experienced a man of the highest honesty and the highest integrity. I then proceeded to go further, contact the Justice Department and other Crown Office departments with a view to highlight the stuff I had and why I would not vouch for Mr. Nicholson or any of the rest of them, and ask for an outside force to come in. This has been done now. Loathing and Borders are going to investigate D.I. Young, Michael Orr and other officers who were involved in this investigation. I have been contacted by a superintendent, or a Chief Superintendent Flanagan of Loathing and Borders Police, with a view of speaking to me to conduct his investigation into this perverse situation that maybe, just maybe, if someone had listened a long time ago, just maybe someone's life would have been spared. So I finish off on this note, that I will not tolerate this sort of policing in our region, Strathclyde region. I will bring them to task, I will make them answerable, I will make them accountable. This is my constituency, this is my ward, this is my people I live with, and this is a city I want to be proud for the right things. And anyone upon anyone who thinks they can undermine us, who can just turn a blind eye, who can be in the pockets of the criminal, think again, because I will not sit back and tolerate that. And as you well know, I have been totally outspoken. I'm one of the few voices in this city who has actually stood up, put my own life at risk, and I will not tolerate this. I will fight tooth and nail to my last breath to clear this city up, because I'm a proud Glaswegian first and foremost, and I'm a proud Scotsman.